Ladies and gentlemen, Dang's coming at you today with an absolutely phenomenal game of Advanced Wars. Why is it so phenomenal? Because it features two old-school, hardcore, grizzled vets going head-to-head. They go by the name of Jokus and I, and they have been around this community forever. You can tell that they're old school because when you click on their profiles, you see trophies. This indicates that they've won tournaments on the site in the past, and whenever you see a trophy like this, you can be sure that this is a player who's been around the site for a long time, because these tournaments haven't been hosted in a very long while. Advanced Wars by Web recently brought them back, and that makes me very happy because I've been missing these tournaments. They tend to produce very cool games, but these guys were around for the old school tournaments, and they even won a few. So we got two grizzled vets right here, and that tends to mean a very entertaining game. And what an amazing map they're playing on as well. This is from the second round of the Open Cup tournament. It's not a site-wide tournament, it was hosted in their community, I think. And this map is called Succession. It is an absolutely massive map, and in addition to having a ton of cities, it's also high funds, which means that you get 2,000 income per city instead of 1,000. So income is going to be through the roof, and we're going to be seeing expensive units in this particular matchup. This map also features a couple of things which we don't normally see. Missile silos. Yeah, they're very rare, but they're here. Now, they're locked behind an enemy anti-air, so in order to get the missile silo, you first have to bring a bomber over here, or alternatively an artillery, and then a transport copter, and then you get one missile, which deals 3 HP of damage in a 3x3 area. Very interesting concept, but in order to get the missile, you do have to sacrifice quite a bit, and this map gets intense very quickly because you actually have both players spread out across the maps. You have two fronts in the center, and there's two carriers, two pre-deployed carriers, which cannot be moved. They create sort of like a no-fly zone in a big area of the map, so you can't really push into the center until you're certain you can take down the carrier, unless you want to dart inside the carrier's minimum range, which is also a possibility. So both players are going to be gunning to take down the other player's carrier very quickly so they can actually fly around. Now, there are two airports. One of them starts captured, the other one starts neutral. So if you want to capture the other one, you're going to have to bring an infantry over here, but you can also spam battlecopters incredibly early on, and that's going to be very prevalent early on because battlecopters extremely strong no matter the game mode. Now, both players will be capturing this base at the start of the turn. Green starts with this base captured. This is just to give Green a bit of an income advantage early on because the black hole player goes first. So that's why this is just the first turn advantage of this particular map. Don't worry, Jokus is going to capture this base on turn 1. And then as soon as both players have captured the bases, you'll get this weird situation where both players will be surrounded by the enemy. Like here, I will have this base right here when he'll be attacked on two fronts, but at the same time, Jokus will also be attacked right here. So it's a very wild and dynamic map. I really like it. We got comm towers too. I always like it when comm towers are present. Makes it easier to bust through enemy walls. Comm towers are great, generally speaking. I really like them. I find that one comm tower, two comm towers tend to be the sweet spot. Maps with other comm towers, they tend to go a little bit too stally. You do actually have a second comm tower right here, so that's nice. So that means both players are going to have around a 20% firepower increase, which I find, as I said, it's like the sweet spot, especially in a high funds matchup. Tons of little islands that you can capture to get additional income. Not super important to get them early on, but you definitely want to get them at some point, which incentivizes the players to build transports, which is always nice. So, let's take a look at the matchup, shall we? So, both of these players, we have movement COs on either side. So, we got Adder versus Cole. Now, normally in a standard format, Adder definitely has the advantage here. He's just seen as a better CO than Cole. Even though Cole has that firepower bonus on roads, Adder has the 2 stars normal power, and that just makes him so much more flexible. Cole has to pay 3 stars to get the same bonus as Adder. Now, Cole gets like that slight bonus on roads, but if we actually take a look at the map, it's not really that much benefit you get out of it. Keep in mind that bridges do not count as roads. This is a mistake that a lot of new Cole players make. They think bridges are roads, but they're not. So the only place where I will get his firepower is like on this tiny little section of the map right here. You're not really going to see any major combat take place on this part of the map. So it's really only going to be here, and then like maybe here, and then here. And that's just not that great. So I don't really know why I decided to go with Cole here. It doesn't seem that great, but on this particular map, I guess any kind of firepower bonus is good when you can get it. And normally on standard matchups, you don't really pop your superpowers a lot, especially not Adder. But in high funds, it can happen. And so I will say that in high funds, I think Cole can be better than Adder depending on the map. Not necessarily on this map, but he can be better. So it's a pretty exciting matchup. I'm very excited to see what these two players will be able to pull off. And an absolutely massive map. I mean, just look at the size of it. It's absolutely crazy. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's crack open a Pepsi and start this match. Ah, that hits the spot. All right, so Joker's going to start off here. He wants to go for the base right away. Definitely do want to do that. In high funds, it's very dangerous to property skip, because again, you're setting yourself back 2k, which can mean a big difference. I opening up a transport copter here. Joker's probably going to do the same thing, I imagine. So yeah, you can get a transport copter out very early, and I do like maps where you can get transports out quickly. In high funds, you can also get away with building transports, because you just have more money to play around with. So I really like high funds for that reason. I think it's a fun, very fun matchup. If you want to watch some more quality high funds replays, then a player by the name of A True Boss has recently started a YouTube channel. He's the best high funds player in the world, and he's making replay commentaries. I'm going to throw a link to his channel in the video description if you want to go check him out. Always exciting to get more veterans on the Advanced Wars by Web community train. So, yeah, both players just going to grab their properties, bringing their transport copters up here. Interesting to see what I's going to do with this particular transport movement, what he intends to do with it. It's not close enough to get a boost, so he definitely has some plans here. Already opening up a battlecopter. Battlecopters are just going to be absolutely fantastic for this particular matchup. So, Joker's doing the same thing. Joker's and I both opening up battlecopters. Let's see what they decide to do with them. I'm very excited to see if either player will go for their missile silo, because that sounds extremely entertaining for me. Just that missile silo can really spice things up. So yeah, he's doing a bit of a boost here. Again, I like to repeat myself from time to time in case I got new subscribers. This is going to look very strange to some of you, because this is not how transports work in the GBA games. This used to be a technical limitation of the site. They used to be able to, because for some reason, like, the site wasn't able to detect what units had moved or something. Some technical mumbo jumbo, I don't remember. But then they actually discovered a fix for it. But then players were so attached to the feature by the time they fixed it that they begged the admins not to change it. And so it's kind of been a feature on the site for a long time. It's called boosting. And I will say, like, boosting, I used to be very against it because I used to be an Advanced Wars purist. But the more I play Advanced Wars by Web, the more I appreciate the concept of boosting. It just allows you to do fun things with your transports, like Joker's just pulled up there. It opens up a lot of cool possibilities. Yes, it is a distinct change from the mainline games, but for me, I think it's a good one, actually. Because it just makes transports more viable. And like D just said, no one would build transports otherwise if you couldn't do this. So I already going for this property right here. He wants to try and grab that. And opening up an artillery and battlecopter right here. So what is he going to do with this artillery? Probably guard the property, I would imagine. So that Jokus won't be able to interrupt it. Jokus goes for the caps. Gets his transport. Again, the capture phase of this particular map, very complicated. There's a lot of factors to consider, and you want to make sure your capture phase is flawless, because if it's not, then your opponent is going to be drastically ahead of you in income. But you can see both players. These guys are grizzled vets. They know the capture phase. They've studied the map. They know how to optimally move their infantry. Interesting movement from the transport there, I gotta say. Yeah, I guess he wants to... he's not putting it in range of the base. So I'm guessing I plans to put this infantry into the transport copter and move it either south or north. First tank coming out from I on day 6 here, moves in his battlecopter. Cheeky little defense behind the mountains here where the anti-air cannot catch it. Jokus continues to capture his properties. Both players are doing relatively well on income. I don't think either player is ahead of the other. Lots of anti-air are going to be built in this matchup because air units are so prevalent, so both players building anti-air, they know that battlecopters are going to be an absolute pain, and if you don't build the proper anti-air early on, you're just going to get zoned out. So the anti-air are adding a lot of complexity to this particular matchup. I now capturing his comm tower, Funny how he's also denying Jokus's comm tower by placing his battlecopter here. Very funny. Of course, this anti-air is in range. The ranges are kind of bugged at the moment. I'm noticing it's not taking into account. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why the ranges are so bugged. You can't see the range properly when you look here. It's not even taking into account the capturing infantry, which is I think it has something to do with the limitation of the site more than anything. I'm moving his artillery. That's an interesting way to put the artillery. I'm guessing the justification is that if Jokus goes for the artillery, he'll just kill it on the next turn. So yeah. And I now using his transport copter to transport the infantry further down. Again, you got to be very careful about the carriers. It's very easy to forget about them in such an air-based map like this. You got to constantly count the ranges and make sure that you're not moving into range of the enemy carrier. Adds a lot of complexity to this early game. Now Jokus is going to grab some of these properties on this side of the map. But both players just feeling each other out. No big engagements has taken place yet. They're just checking out their ranges. So, we see that, yeah, each player has 3 battlecopters at the moment. Yeah, 3 battlecopters, and there's going to be a lot more battlecopters, let me tell you. Now, I manages to capture his comm tower on his side. Jokus still hasn't taken his, and he's got to be careful because this comm tower can actually be locked down by this artillery if he's not careful. So, and that would give I a pretty big advantage, having that 10% extra firepower. Another battlecopter coming out right now, and he continues to deny the comm tower. So Jokus just not going to get that. So that is phenomenal play by I right there. He was able to grab his comm tower, and he's denying his opponent's comm tower, which is, that's usually the way to go. Here we go. I going in for the kill right now, picking up an infantry, moving his tank forward, creating a nice little wall there with the artillery, with the battlecopter supporting it. So this is fantastic. Also has to move his anti-air out of the way now because Jokus is building that artillery. Now, Jokus will be able to move his artillery here and start shooting on the anti-air, but he may not have the time for that because I is applying a lot of pressure in the early goings of this matchup right now. So this is going to be tough if Jokus doesn't break out of this contain here. Could be very, very bad for him. But I is mustering a bit of a force down here in the bottom right as well. So if Jokus is not careful, he could get hit on another front. And this is why mixed base maps are very entertaining. Yeah, you see, Jokus does not want to waste his time attacking the anti-air. He's being pressured, so he needs to move in now. Battlecopters coming down to assists. So it looks like both players are going to find themselves doing battle on both fronts at this point. Now, Jokus takes a shot at the infantry on the comm tower. Builds another tank. So both players, they have, you can see Jokus has a pretty big income advantage right now. But I is about to capture 2 properties. So he should be able to equalize that pretty well. Goes in for the capture. I has to back off a little bit now because there's a Neo tank that just came into play. So this Neo tank is going to change up everything. Now Jokus is going to be able to really break out of his contain here. Neo tanks are fantastic in high funds. You definitely want to build them. You need the speed, especially on a map like this. Like medium tanks are just too slow for high funds, I find. So now I is moving in, brings an artillery in on the attack, using that transport copter to get a little bit of an extra boost, and now the bombers are going to come in. A lot of people don't like the way I say bombers. Like, hey, it's not bombers, man. Okay, I'm Norwegian. Allow me to have a bit of an accent, okay? I say bombers. I know that triggers people. They're like, oh, there's bombers, not bombers. Boomba, boomba, boomba. There's a guy who says that I've been copying Djis too much too. It's like, oh my god, you said kablam and baboomba. That's what Djis says. Start being original, Mangs. Okay, sorry, I guess I'm just a Djis copycat now. Yeah, I'm gonna rename my channel to Mangs Productions. I'm gonna put baboons everywhere. That's how I'm gonna get ahead. So yeah, Jokus back to the match. Both players at the moment just feeling each other out. Jokus now has to move his anti-air away as well. I'm really curious to see if either player are gonna go for the missile silos. But yeah, now I's bringing in his bomber. You definitely want to get the bomber closer to the Neo tank because bombers are fantastic counters to Neo tank. They wipe them out very quickly. But now, I sends his infantry back to be healed. Very important to do that in high funds because your unit count is extremely important in this matchup. But as you can see, it's a very confusing face-off right now, because you got sort of like both players are surrounding each other. That's why this map is so incredibly wacko. You don't really know which engagement you're gonna see first, because the moment someone pushes on one side, they're going to get pressured on another side. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Day 11 rolls in. Jokas now goes for the comm tower. I still hasn't let him take this one, but I have a feeling he's gonna get it very soon. Goes for some of the islands. Now Jokas is actually threatening one of I's properties. And again, in high funds, this is such a big deal, because whenever you take away a property from someone in high funds, you swing 4k money in your favor. You get 2k extra income and you take away 2k for the opponent. So in high funds, it is twice as important to interrupt enemy capping your properties, because again, you just don't want that kind of income disparity taking place. Jokas now bringing in his bomber. And doing the same attack, actually, on this side. He doesn't have any infantry to follow it up with, though, which is a little sad. But he decides to go for the interrupt here. But he has to be careful, because I has a lot of anti-air. A lot of forces in this area. 2 battlecopters coming out of Jokas. The amount of air units you see on this map, absolutely spectacular. That's why we have the carriers. Because you have to limit the airplay in the center. Otherwise, both players would just be overrun. I coming in with his bomber now. Interrupting the cap on his property. Doesn't want to let Jokas get that one. Now, this artillery is exposed, but Jokas still doesn't want to go in here. It's only worth 6k. His other units are going to get shellacked if he does that, so it is actually comparatively pretty safe. But here, Antair takes out the infantry, and I is moving forward with his units, poking forward, testing, see what he can get away with. Now, in a situation such as this, where both players are kind of just like measuring each other up, waiting to strike, then Adder has the advantage, because he will get his power before Cole. So that extra star that Cole has to pay for his normal power puts him at a severe disadvantage. But if Cole can get into the late game, where superpower starts coming in, that's going to be a lot better for him. Now, Jokas finally capturing this comm tower. I can interrupt it, but I have a feeling he won't, because it would just be a little bit too costly for him to do that. Now the battlecopters are coming in. And Jokas has to be very careful with his positioning right here, because I is measuring him up for a strike here. He's got to be very, very careful. He's positioning his battlecopters very carefully so that the anti-air can't reach them. And now he's finally going to get that comm tower. Now, I could have taken some engagements before that comm tower came in, and he would have been at a slight advantage, but looks like Jokas' defense is just too good. So let's see. I is definitely in a position to attack here. The battlecopters that Jokas are sending down can't really do anything at the moment, because of this carrier is zoning them out. But if Jokas is able to take out the carrier, then suddenly it's going to be, you know, what do you say? It's going to be free real estate. That was the phrase I was looking for. So I is going in here. He's taking out the anti-air. There is another anti-air right here, but look at how he's using his battlecopters to shield his bomber. I mean, that is phenomenal play right here. So he's moving in with his battlecopters to take out the infantry. Then he's moving in with his tank and kills the anti-air with the bomber. And now the bomber is safe. I don't know why the rangers are so whack here. It looks like the units are not being registered. That's kind of weird. But phenomenal play from I right here. Using battlecopters to shield the bomber against anti-air. That is some high-level play right there. That's what you get from veterans. So the battlecopter, so I is focusing his forces in the center here. He knows that Jokas is planning for an attack here. He's gathering his forces in the range of his carrier. Now he's going for his second comm tower. Jokas has already captured his second comm tower. So once or his first comm tower over here. So both players will soon have that 20% extra firepower, and that means that pushes are so much more likely to occur. In comes the artillery. I is actually pulling back a little bit here, because Jokas is now sending down a bomber to assist, which is going to make it very hard for I to attack. 2 more battlecopters coming in. Man, this is a powder keg just filling up with gunpowder, and you know it's going to blow up at some point. Now Jokas takes the hit. He takes the shot because he has that Neo-tank in range. He's got to be careful, though. He can't risk the bomber striking that Neo-tank on a road. But here, let's go. Side slip comes in, ladies and gentlemen. This means Jokas is about to go on the offense, and here he comes. Tank strikes, gets rid of the tank on the city. Anti-air comes in, strikes the battlecopter. Phenomenal play by Jokas right here that he sees that. Goes for the city. There's no way I is going to be able to interrupt that. He's not in range. Even with the superpower, these battlecopters are not going to be in range. But look at that, I already has his superpower. It's ready. So Jokas better make sure that he positions his units wisely now, because next turn is going to be very, very nasty. Look, he's pulling back. He knows that that superpower is coming in, and he doesn't want any part of it. Moves his battlecopters down for defense. It's going to be so many battlecopters in this particular matchup, let me tell you guys. It's going to be battlecopter city over here. Even takes a shot with his infantry. 2 more battlecopters coming out for Jokas, and this is where things are about to get very wild. Look how careful he is with his units right here. He doesn't want to lose them through the Trail of Woe. So day 13 rolls in. Is I going to pop his Trail of Woe? Yes, he is. He goes on the counteroffensive. He really has no choice. In comes the medium tank. Anti-air goes down as well. Ah, isn't it such a shame that bridges don't get firepower to Cole? I mean, it's criminal. I mean, come on. A bridge is a road that goes over water. Cole should have gotten his firepower bonus on bridges as well. It's so dumb that he doesn't. But yeah, I is about to counterattack here in a big way. In comes the bomber. He's attacking in the south here. Coming in with his medium tank, and suddenly all of Jokas' anti-air are gone, and this bomber now has free reign. Anti-air strikes the artillery. Battlecopter strikes the artillery as well. My goodness, what a counterattack from I right here. And he's moving in. The battlecopters are coming in as well. The carrier is protecting his air units. Another transport. Interesting play. I think he intends to go for the missile silo. I mean, why else would he build a second transport? And here comes another attack. Tank rolls in, strikes Jokas. He takes out another tank. In comes the battlecopter. It's a fantastic counterattack. And Jokas just popped his power, so he won't have it ready next turn. Ignores the comm tower. Probably because he knows he can't get it, so he decides to just save his infantry unit instead. I know so many players, myself included, who have just gone for the capture here. But I is like, no, I'm not going to waste any infantry. I can't get this cap, so I might as well save the infantry and have it be part of the next attack. Magnificent play. Save every single unit. It's going to be useful at some point. But yeah, that 2 extra movement really helping I here. So day 14 rolls in. Jokas now. Let's take a look at their value. Jokas is quite a bit behind at the moment. But let's see if he can equalize that. He does have a massive income lead though. 56,000 to 44,000. So, but I is going to capture some properties on his next turn. So that's going to equalize a little bit. But my goodness. That was a pretty devastating counterattack. Let's see if Jokas going to be able to do something about that. He takes out the battlecopter. Gets a little bit of a shot with his anti-air. Why not? He might actually be able to get his power on this turn if he takes enough engagement. That looks like... Yeah, he's sacking units. He's sacking units. He's building up for a side slip. He's building up for a side slip. I think that was perfectly calculated. Yes, here it comes. So let's see if Jokas is going to be able to do something here. Neo-tank comes in, takes down the Arty. Tank comes in, does decent damage to the Arty as well. Takes out the artillery, builds another Neo-tank. Goes for the capture. Not going to get it, though, until 3 turns. Now, the battlecopters, as you can see, they can't really do much more. I mean, they can with the power. If they use their power, they can go inside the range of the artillery or of the carrier. But he just popped it, so I don't really know what he intends to do here. More battlecopters coming in. He needs to be careful here. He doesn't want to attack into this. That would be very bad. Neo-tank now coming in as well. Vehicles deal a decent amount of damage to carriers. Actually, I think Neo-tanks is like 20% or something, but this carrier is on an empty missile silo, so it has 30% extra defense. So it's going to be hard to kill that thing without battlecopters, bombers, or artillery. But day 14 rolls in. Oops. That was a bit of a misclick. Let me fix that real quick. I know, professional streamer right here. There we go. That's better. Day 14 rolls in. Let's see what I decides to do here. He grabs this transport copter is actually dangerously low on fuel. He needs to refuel it. He really needs to refuel it. Okay, so now he's actually going for the comm tower again, interestingly enough. But the attack continues. Anti-air comes in. Shoots down the battlecopters. They're such important units. My goodness, they are such important units. Now I is capturing this property. Very smart to capture it while all the other stuff is going on here, because Jokas doesn't really have the unit count to deal with this at the moment. Antair goes north to try and harass this infantry. There's 2 properties here that Jokas hasn't capped. So this Antair, it's actually pretty smart to send it up here to interrupt the cap. This forces Jokas to... Like, what is he going to do? He can't build any tanks. He has to build a bomber to counteract it. And he definitely doesn't want to do that at the moment. Brings in the transport copter. And now, Ai is trying to converge his 2 forces here. As you can see, he's moving his forces over here to try and strike Jokas at his base. He's gathering his army up now, which is very important to do in a mixed base setting. You definitely want to try and gather your armies together, because of course having 2 small armies gives you more flexibility, but it's when you combine those 2 armies into 1 strike force that you can truly win games, especially when combined with a power or superpower. Jokas' turn rolls in right now. He has to keep defending himself. Ai has an absolutely massive amounts of units in this area right here. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. But Jokas, he interrupts the comm tower. He really doesn't want to give Ai that 10% extra firepower. That's going to matter so much in these engagements. But Jokas knows that an attack is coming. And he's placing himself up defensively. But he's also preparing for an attack on Ai's base. And I think we're going to see a bit of a base race scenario from both players here very soon. Ai has that superpower ready again, though. And that's very scary. We're probably going to see a trail of woe next turn. Is he going to pop it? Captures. Is he gonna... This transport might crash if he doesn't refuel it next turn. Here it comes. Trail of Woe. 2 extra movement. Let's see what Ai decides to do with this firepower increase, shall we? Comes in with the Antair. Ooh, and here we go. He started the attack now. He's committing. He's committing to the attack. Oh, the bomber in range of the carrier. There we go. Carrier goes down to 4 HP. Look at the power that generates for Jokas. Absolutely insane. So this carrier, it's still on 4 health. So it can still deal some damage. But it's severely weakened. And now I can actually afford to bring his other air units in. And as you can see, he is striking Jokas really hard now. This is a full-scale invasion of Jokas' base. And his base is about to get locked down really quickly. Even goes for the captures, because why not? Brings in the transport copter. More Antair coming in. He's foregoing. A lot of players, I think, would have been tempted to strike this infantry to deny these 2 properties, but Ai sees that he would rather have units around here to help take down this particular base. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is high funds. And you know what you can do in high funds? You'll see very soon. Ai knows. He has a lot of artillery here they're just sitting duck at the moment. I don't really know why he built so many artillery. So Jokas, day 16 rolls in. His base is under siege, and he just got a shellacking. What is he going to do? He's not popping his... There we go. Okay, just wanted to get a bit of power charge first. Side slip goes off. He wants to save up for another side slip next turn. So as you can see, 4 HP carrier still deals 4 HP of damage to the bomber. Still not terrible at its job. But now Jokas is going to start attacking as well. He comes in. Takes engagements in range of the carrier, actually. So it's going to be interesting to see if he actually will be able to kill it. Otherwise, he's going to lose a battlecopter. I think he's just going to take that battlecopter loss. Oh, base locks Ai's base with an artillery. Pretty smart. Pretty smart. Neotank is coming in as well. And now bringing in a fighter as well. That's a pretty smart thing to do. Needs to counteract all these bombers flying around now that his carrier is no longer operational. Brings a second fighter. Yeah, this is about to turn into a fighter-bomber game. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So you know what you can do in high funds? You can build mega tanks. Mega tanks on a base is going to survive for a disgusting amount of time. Even against high firepower units like Neotanks and bombers. Mega tanks on bases just don't die. So this is a fantastic move by Jokas, building that mega tank to just try and prevent Ai from taking that base for as long as possible while he tries to take Ai's base. Of course, Ai can do the same thing to him. But here we go. Ai's about to do a cleanup on aisle 5 right here. This is an interesting... This must have been a misplay by Jokas, surely. Putting that bomber there. I need to go back and see how he moved his units. So, yeah, this is a weird move right here. I'm not entirely sure why he did that. Just, placed his bomber in range of the Antair, I guess. Kind of a weird move. Might have been a tilt. Might have been an oversight. Maybe a massive big brain move to try and get the Antair away. I'm not sure. Not usual. I mean, I'm looking at this move right here, and it seems like a fumble to me. I'm a bit surprised because this is not usually something you see from players of this caliber, but unless he has some kind of hidden trick up his sleeve, then this just seems like a straight up fumble to me. But maybe someone in the comment section can point it out for me if it's actually ended up being a big brain move. We'll see. But yeah, he just lost himself a bomber, and that's not good because his base is under siege right now, and it is taking some heavy damage. Using the transport copter to trap the mega tank. That is such a big brain play. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. That is fantastic. T-copter trollage right here. That is so funny. The carrier is now dead, and it's looking pretty grim for Jokus right now. He needs to pull out some seriously good moves if he wishes to defend this. Looks like that carrier is going to shoot down a battlecopter as well. One battlecopter falls from Jokus. Oof, this is terrible. Oh, another battlecopter falls, and now I build some mega tank as well. He's like, yeah, I can do that too. So Ice defense is pretty damn solid in this particular matchup. Now he's also locking down. He has an artillery in range. Now, artillery doesn't do a lot of damage to mega tanks, but they'll still chip away at them. Refills his transport copter. Good. That was giving me a bit of OCD, not gonna lie. Day 17 rolls in. Jokus is very behind in value right now, but he does have a power stored up. He's probably going to use it. In comes the fighter, shoots down the bomber. Bomber comes in as well. 2 HP bomber, the one that survived the anti-air. I don't know, maybe it was a big brain move. I actually don't know. He does not pop his power at the moment. Looks like he's going to hold on to it. But yeah, he will get this base eventually. The question is, will he get it before I gets his? Puts a tank in front of the mega tank. That is not as good as using a transport copter in my opinion, because the mega tank will one-shot the tank. But the transport copter, I think, survives it. Yeah, it does. A mega tank will deal 7 HP of damage to a transport copter. Now I know that. So transport copters can be used to block them pretty effectively. But side slip comes in mid-turn. The Neo tank takes out the artillery. Is that pretty much the only thing he did with the side slip? Okay. Looks like he's falling apart here, if I'm going to be completely honest. That seemed like a desperation side slip to me. I comes in, and this is the trail of woe that ends the hoe, I think. Here we go. Oh my goodness. There we go. This is going to hurt. This is the killing blow. The killing woe. I'll see myself out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Jokus is just falling apart right now. This is hard to watch. I'm watching two old men beat each other up, but one is significantly stronger than the other. It's like watching a bodybuilder grandpa beating up my grandpa. And it's painful to watch. Yeah, this is oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ice even breaking out of his own contain right now. Taking the fight to Jokus. Yeah, I don't expect Jokus to last long here. He's probably going to tap out, I imagine. That was absolutely devastating. I really playing solidly here. And yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, Jokus throws in the towel. Spectacular matchup from these two veterans right here. That was a lot of fun. My goodness. Spectacular positioning on his side. Jokus played well too, but my goodness, that was beautiful to watch. It really was. It really was. So yeah, not every day you get to see a game like this from two veterans, but it was very, very enjoyable. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Do you have any thoughts, any comments on this matchup? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. My name has been Dags, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!